sarcasm.
Question of the day, where were you when you realized that journalism wasn't what you thought it was? It was probably me with Dan Rather forging documents. That was one. And now we're talking about fake news. When Walter Cronkite said, I believe the quote was, "You can't be a reporter and not be somewhat of a liberal." I remember that hit me like just a blast of cold water, because we're about to show you an unedited interview with the writer of an article at the Austin Chronicle. I think Sven Computer has this as an overlay. It was an article written about the recent Crowder Confronts.
Yep.
About the video. Never featured the video, just riddled with inaccuracies.
Not to feature the
yes.
video.
So we tried to reach this girl, and we weren't able to reach the author, and then she called us back, so that's what you're about to hear. And here's the thing, it's not about the Austin Chronicle, right? I mean, I get it, not many people read it. What it's about is the media at large. This has been going on. I've encountered this with Daily Beast, with Washington Post, with Sky News. You were there when we did this with Sky News.
Yep.
It's about the media getting away with this scot-free for so long, and we just can't, it's kind of like the Crowder Confronts. We just can't allow it to continue. So hope you enjoy the phone call. Stephen Crowder.
Hi, this is Jesse Cape.
Hey, Jesse, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm glad we were able to connect finally.
Absolutely. Thanks for reaching out.
Sure. Well, I know the first thing is I know you were looking for someone to comment from my side here on the story. I had some questions for you. Curious as to you wrote an article about a video exclusively, kind of a play-by-play, but never included the video. Why's that?
Sure. Well, it's pretty easy to find. I did include the title and mention the platform, YouTube, that it's on, so anyone who can use the internet can find that. But I do have some questions for you, actually.
Sure, but why wouldn't you embed it then at that point? I don't understand, because some of the inaccuracies I'd like to go over are clearly stated in the video, or at least featured in the video. So is there a reason you didn't embed it?
Well, I just specifically said that. We chose not to do that, but I did include the title and the platform that it's on. So,
why?
That's my answer. So if you would like to tell me about the inaccuracies that you found, I'm happy to hear you out, and I'd love to hear those.
Absolutely. Well, first off, I'm glad we're finally speaking, because the first inaccuracy, I mean, you didn't reach out to me at all directly for a comment or for my side of the story, which surprised me, considering this is reporting.
Well, I did reach out to CRTV, and I put that in there. I have the email thread, and I'm happy to provide you with that.
Sure. Well, I know you reached out to a generic page on CRTV that, I don't work for them. We have a partnership agreement, and you were advocated to go to my social media pages. All my producers, their emails are there. We have a very quick, simple contact me page, and I know you wrote that you were not about to, quote, fall into that trap. So what trap is that?
Well, I'm not going to use my personal social media platform to reach out on this story. So I'm calling you now from my cell phone number. So that's as personal as I'm willing to get on this. As a journalist, I would just like to streamline this conversation and get the inaccuracies that you mentioned.
Sure. Well, that's an inaccuracy.
Your voicemail said, okay, well, I'm happy to hear you out now.
Sure. Well, that's right there. That's one inaccuracy, that the implication that you had reached out to me, because we never received word. And I, of course, would have loved to give our side, especially if we'd have known that you weren't going to feature the video that was in question. A couple of things before we get to the other inaccuracies, which are more obvious. You mentioned our fans doxed this person. They received death threats. Any evidence of that?
Well, it's all over the comment threads. I was able to find those people, the person at Juiceland and the person's manager, all of their personal information is on multiple platforms at this point.
Sure. So I guess we need to define first, as you mentioned, journalistic integrity. I know that's important. What do you mean when you say doxing? I want to make sure I'm not misconstruing this.
Well, the release of someone's personal information to the public, their home address. In this particular case, the employee, to my knowledge, is transgender. Both their birth name and the name that they go by were released, which can be very dangerous. All sorts of personal information is out there now about these individuals, which I'm sure, I understand from the little that I have been able to find, in terms of your beliefs on these types of things, that you certainly don't advocate for violence. And I did include that in the story. That, yeah, absolutely. Which I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that you did mention it, actually, though. I don't know that you did. That's another thing. I don't know that you did mention that, you talk about me being 6'2" and the person being smaller. I find it odd that you went out of your way to mention that information, but not that I repeatedly said, I am not calling any actions to violence. I would never want violence against you. I didn't see that in there. And that was in the video.
Sure, I understand that. You are 6'2". Is that inaccurate?
Well, why would you list my tale of the tape and not my actions, where I clearly stated, listen, no violence? Why doesn't that make the piece, but my size does?
Well, because it's an act of aggression to go behind the counter.
Okay, so you think that act is more significant than me saying I am not advocating violence at all? Please just take the post down and this will be the end of it? You think me being 6'2" and larger is more important than my active calls to action, which are nonviolence?
I certainly am not qualifying that or ranking them at all.
You didn't mention one at all.
I'm sorry?
You didn't mention one at all.
Okay. Well, the thing is here is I'm not calling you to be interrogated. I'm giving you an opportunity to right wrongs that you find.
I'm trying to. No one reached out to us for comment. You mentioned my size. You don't mention that I clearly and explicitly and repeatedly state calls to nonviolence. You imply that we doxed them or that our fans did. Do you know who released the information of where the juice land was in the personal information? You know who did that, right?
Why don't you tell me?
You.
Okay.
In the very first paragraph of your article, you're the one who states the MLK Juice Land and releases this information. Not us. We blurred the name. We never mentioned the location. You did it.
I also did not release that person's name.
Okay. So if neither did we. But you're the one who released the location and the information. You understand, to imply that's something to our fans, that you did it.
Okay. I appreciate you saying that. I find that to be inaccurate, but can we please move on to the other things that I'm very curious about the other inaccuracies that you said. Your voicemail to me, quote, said it was riddled.
Yes, well, there's three. There's three, and right now you just said, here's the thing, if I say it's in your article, you can bring it up right now, you mention where the juice land is, that's you, and you say, I don't believe that's accurate, this can't be a fruitful discussion. Okay, another thing, you mentioned alt-right comedian. A quick rudimentary Google search would show you that I'm not alt-right. I've very fervently disavowed the alt-right. And as a matter of fact, they've attacked me. So can we agree that that's at least one inaccuracy? Where's the due diligence there?
I don't find that to be an inaccuracy, but
Why not? Why not?
Well, for various reasons, but it seems like we're arguing semantics.
Name one. Name one. No semantics. Name one. I say I'm not alt-right. I've disavowed them.
You raising your voice at me? I am not raising my voice.
Okay, that's fair.
Responding to you, okay?
That's fair.
I'm not raising my voice. Thank you. I'd appreciate it if we could just keep this very civil. I have
absolutely. Why am I alt-right?
Other than, excuse me, can I please finish my statement? You've interrupted everything that I have to say. I would appreciate keeping this civil. Okay? Please do not raise your voice at me. Moving on.
Why am I alt-right?
Okay, I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Would you like to go on, or should I?
Please.
Thank you. I appreciate that you do not like that term. That is an umbrella term, and I am not the only person who uses it. I understand that you do not identify as that, and so I'm happy to update the story with the proper nomenclature that you would like me to use. What is that?
Sure. I'm just a conservative. But it's not about me. It's not about me. I mean, I know you choose to use the pronouns.
It's not about you?
No, it's not about how I identify. I am not alt-right. That's not a matter of editorialization. It's just wrong.
In your opinion?
No. Are we talking about reporting here, accurate reporting? Why would, if for example, if someone else were to say, I am not a Democrat, nor have I ever been a Democrat, I cannot stand Democrats, and they were attacked by Democrats on the record, and then you wrote about them as a Democrat, and they said, hey, you need to correct this. I'm not a Democrat, and you said, in your opinion, can we agree that's not correct? That's borderline journalistic malpractice if you're going to say that that's not editorialization. If you want to say this as an opinion piece, fine, but it's not factual.
Well, Democrat and Republican are recognized in a legal sense. Alt-right is not. That is a descriptor.
Okay, so that's how we get around it. But would you say it's at least, at the very least, a rudimentary Google search would help, considering I've been one of the most active people at the forefront of not involving myself with the alt-right?
Well, I guess perhaps maybe we could just discuss what your issues with the alt-right are that make you want to be so far away from them that you're willing to have.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm just not. Well, because I know it's a
focus on that.
Sure. Well, I know you mentioned it as a catch-all term, and I know that people at your paper have used it to refer to people under a catch-all umbrella, including National Socialists, which I'm not. I'm not a nationalist. I am not under the I know the implications that I'm a racist. I'm not that. I just haven't really identified as alt-right ever. I've clearly, explicitly listed my values. I'm a traditionalist, constitutionalist, conservative. You can call me a federalist. But again, I think you know why you use the term alt-right. You mentioned you didn't find the original post. I found that curious. You mean the original Facebook posts that we included in our video? You weren't able to find those?
I absolutely found yours, but I could not find the other ones because that person has deleted all of their social media accounts.
Okay. So but you can find those. I know you did also, again, in the video. This is why showing the video when an article is a play-by-play of a video is so important. This person admitted on camera to posting those in the video. That's not mentioned either.
I watched the video.
Okay.
Would you be willing to send me the information that you have, the comments, the screenshots, those things, to my email address? I would love to see the originals that you posted in the video.
Sure, absolutely. I just... The person in the video in question, Cameron, says that they are her posts.
Okay.
Should that be included?
It's up to you. Would you like me to include that?
Well, what's the implication if you say I wasn't able to find the original posts and never mention and never show the video, never mention that in the video this person in question says, yeah, of course those are my posts? Is that not relevant?
Okay. I suppose that it is. I'm happy to quote you as saying that you believe that it's relevant. Would you like me to do so?
Absolutely. More than happy to have you quote me on that. But I would prefer it if you quote this person in the video saying those are absolutely my posts. Shall I send a time code?
Should you send a what? I'm sorry, the phone cut out.
Shall I send a time code, a timestamp to the video where this statement is made?
I watched the video. I'm aware.
Okay. So why didn't you include it?
I did not include the video. I've already...
No, why did you not include this person saying that these are my posts? Your article leaves it to imagination as though we made up posts, as though you couldn't find them, as though there's no evidence. The evidence is an admission and screenshots. The person admits in the video. That is relevant information if we're going to be practicing journalism, is it not?
Sure. Again, I did include the quotes. Did I not?
The quotes
of this article right now.
The person saying, those are my posts?
It says, according to screenshots posted by the Crowder camp in a YouTube video, and it goes on, which I specifically mentioned there that I've redacted that name. So no, back to your earlier statement that I released that information, I have redacted that person's name.
Okay.
But anyway,
Just to be clear, what does redacted mean?
Removed the name for safety purposes is which I
right, so it's
clearly
been removed.
Stated in the article.
Now. Yeah, it's been removed now. Yeah.
Which I appreciate. I actually do that you blurred out the name just on your video.
Sure.
But again, all of that, I realize you cannot, control what your commenters do. I understand that completely. Neither can I.
Sure.
You'll notice on our article, I mean, clearly there's nothing you can do about commenters. I understand that.
Right.
But going on.
No, and I appreciate that. Listen, I know you would not advocate violence, nor would you tacitly approve of someone actively posting a plot to slash tires, or with someone else is firebombing the van. These go on for a long time, but it does embolden these people. Again, it goes back to you did not include the quote where this person said that they were this person's post on Facebook. So no, that is not included in there. And when you say I couldn't find the original posts, talk about how I'm 6'2" and not my active call to nonviolence. This is an inaccurate piece. It's riddled with inaccuracies. Okay. Like we said, we've been through 4 or 5 now, and I'm not in control of my fans, but I am not judging you for anything your fans have said. I am calling to your attention the things you've said.
I understand. And my actual statement is we have yet to obtain the original posts, and the employees' social media accounts appear to be deleted. From what we can gather online, the following is the basic rundown.
Yes. So would you not deem it relevant that the person gathering online is in the video, the person in question said, these are my posts. Of course, these are my posts. Is that not relevant?
I suppose that it is, and I'm happy to quote you on that. Is that, yes.
No, don't quote me. Quote them on it. You said you've seen the video. Quote them on it. Them saying, of course, those are my posts. I don't need you to quote me. This person said it. It's on camera. Is that are you disagreeing with me on that? I'm confused here.
I never said that I disagreed with you.
So then why
Please
is
do
it
not
in there?
put words in my mouth.
So then what is the issue here? Don't quote me. Quote the person in question who said, of course, this is my post. Otherwise, it's activism, not journalism.
Excuse me?
Otherwise, it is activism, not journalism.
Okay. Do you consider yourself a journalist?
No.
Okay. What?
Do you?
Under this, sir, I do not appreciate the sarcasm.
No, do you?
Of course I am.
Okay. Well, it was not sarcastic at all. I wasn't quite sure from this conversation. I thought maybe you were an op-eds person, which is totally fine. I have no problem with someone who's an op-ed writer, who's an opinion writer. I have no problem with that if it's clearly, explicitly stated in the piece.
I understand that, going back to it, you are upset that I mentioned your height. But
no.
the entire... Excuse me?
No.
Okay. Well, could I finish, please? I understand that you have mentioned that I mentioned your height multiple times. So the reason that I did that, which I'm pretty sure reads very clearly, that the reason that is relevant is because you did walk behind the counter of a business.
Yes.
Is that a typical behavior of you? I mean, is that how you choose to confront people? I know that confronting people is kind of your thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Actually, it's not. As a matter of fact, there are over 30 million plays on Change My Mind segments. The reason this segment has started, by the way, we were there in Austin. We spoke with, I can't remember her name, Danielle. She's a transgender woman running for city council, male to female transgender. This went on while there were calls to firebomb our van. This occurred while this person was advocating and plotting to slash our tires, where we were actually sitting down doing a Change My Mind segment, which is a completely unedited interview where we sit on the street and allow anyone to have a conversation. So it's not kind of my thing. Yeah. There are 2 of these. I think there are 10 plus of those. And this is just when people advocate violence. No, it's not my thing. This person's thing is advocating violence. My issue here is not that you list my height. The issue here is that you write an article where you say you couldn't find the original posts. You never quote the person in question who openly says, of course, those are my posts. You do not show the video. You refer to me as alt. I'm just going to finish here. You refer to me as alt-right. You mention my height and not my active call to nonviolence. Again, I state, this is a piece very selectively choosing facts, if we want to call it those, and it's activism, not journalism. And I would just appreciate if it's labeled such. I don't care if you list my height. If you say 6'2", Steven Crowder, glistening in the sun, walked behind the kitchen and said, hey, just to be clear, I would never advocate violence against you, I wouldn't have a problem with it. If you were to say, though we couldn't find the posts because they were deleted, but in the video openly says, of course, those are my posts, that changes context. Because if people understand that this, of course, was the person in question, plotting to slash tires, talking about making sure that I don't expose myself or am ever vulnerable again, and they understand that I'm simply asking this person in the video to remove it, and that would be the end, I think that changes the context of the piece. Would you not agree?
I understand where you're coming from, but to clear up the inaccuracies that you just mentioned, I did quote that person 3 times.
3 times saying, of course, that is my post.
The fact that I did not include that one statement does not
It verifies the accuracy of the statement. It is pivotal. Of course, listen, you can quote them saying Steven Crowder's mean all you want. That's complete. It could not be less relevant.
That is not. Did you read the thing?
I have it right in front of me. Nowhere is it included. 0 places.
That statement is not, but 3 statements in a row are, including the one in which this person said that he, where is it?
I am dead
I
inside.
would just remove the signs and slash his tires. That's the part you had an issue with. There was also a part that I included in which that person says, I worked with some on the Robert E. Lee statue. I included that as well. So the idea that I was just falsely portraying this person as being completely innocent is completely off base.
You falsely portrayed the accuracy of what we had posted, saying you could not find it, and you did not include the video, nor the quote from the video where this person confirms that it was indeed them. I think that's pretty important. It doesn't matter if you say, Steven Crowder said this happened, but I wasn't able to confirm any of it, when you don't post the video and you don't post the quote from said video of the person saying, of course that's me. So now you see why the video is kind of key here, and it's curious that you didn't include it, because at least people could watch it for themselves and go, oh, of course this transgender person at Juiceland said that's me, those are my posts. Well, that puts it to bed.
Sir, I've gone over this multiple times. What I would also like you to do is answer my question about whether or not you feel that it was an act of aggression to go behind the counter and hover over that person within 1 foot of his face. Is that an act of aggression?
No.
You don't believe that it is?
I do not believe that it is when I walk back and say, just to be clear, I am not advocating violence. I would like you to remove this active call to violence against me, and that'll be the end of it. And the person says, no, I'm not going to remove my post. I don't believe so. I don't. But I am totally fine with showing all of the video, gather whatever you can. I think this person might have some more footage for you. We've said anyone who has any footage from it, please send it in. I am very comfortable with allowing people to see all of it, as much context as possible, and making their own decisions.
I understand that. Why do you not feel that that is an act of aggression to go behind the counter of someone's workplace and stand within 1 foot of their face?
I just answered. Why do you not think it to be journalistic malpractice when you do not quote someone admitting to a crime on camera?
Sir, you have yet to answer my question.
I just did. You want me to answer it again? No, I do not.
I do.
Now let me explain it why again.
Why do you not?
I said I do not, and the reason why is when I walk back there and say openly, explicitly, not calling any actions to violence, I don't want any violence to come to you, please take this down. No. But I'm okay with, if someone wants to interpret it that way, because they've watched the video and they've seen the person admit to the crime, I'm fine with someone having that opinion. What I'm not okay with is a journalist going out there selectively writing an article, omitting facts, omitting key details as to confirmation of the authenticity of these acts, and allowing this to pass as journalism. That's what I have a problem with. I'm fine with anyone having any opinion of me that they want, so long as it's based on accuracy. Your piece isn't.
In your opinion. I also have one question.
No, not in my opinion. Not in my opinion.
I have one question about the update that I posted at the end of the article from APD, Austin Police Department, that there's 2 case numbers associated.
Yep.
One is criminal mischief, and the other is criminal trespass. To my knowledge, the criminal trespass is based on the report that Juiceland employees filed against you and your team. Has there been any update on that? And do you consider that to be trespassing? Were you trespassing?
There is no update on it. The police said as long as they don't go back in a year, it's fine. It was a notice.
Sure.
The other one is ongoing, and it's been passed on to a detective because there's much more serious criminal activity. I'd be happy to send you to the Austin PD if you'd like.
The report?
Yes, I'd be happy to direct you to them. They were pretty clear that one's a notice. Don't come back. That's not a crime. Don't come back within a year. Then it would be trespassing. One is an ongoing investigation because of some information which we actually omitted for safety purposes. There's more evidence that we didn't include. But again, you can bet that the detectives and the police will be doing their due diligence to look into the quotes and posts and ensuring the accuracy when they are currently doing so.
Yes, I posted that myself, so I am aware of that.
Yeah.
I was just giving you an opportunity to add anything else regarding that specific part of the story. Update if you would like.
No, we'll find our juice elsewhere for the next year. So we were happy to just get a warning.
Okay. And is there anything else that you find to be inaccurate in the story?
That I find to be inaccurate? The whole story, yeah, basically the whole theme of the story, the whole spirit of the activism of the story disguised as journalism.
That's what you have a problem with, is the theme?
Well, I have a problem in this area of, here's what I have a problem with. Do you really want me to answer your question?
Well, I wouldn't have asked you if I didn't want an answer.
I just say it because I think you might not like the answer. I'm going to try and be as calm and civil as possible, but also as honest as possible. In the era of people freaking out about fake news, when people omit videos while writing an article exclusively about a video, omit facts that would be key details, by the way, key witnesses in a court case, omit information, and also mislead the audience with information that's selectively edited. For example, reaching out to some generic line on CRTV, acting as though you'd reached out to me directly. I have a problem with this passing as news, because it's not. This is not news, it's activism. And I know that you get very offended when I say I think you're an activist, not a journalist. But when I say, hey, listen, there's a quote right in this video, and you say, well, that in your opinion, it's not my opinion. It's like me saying right now the sky is blue in your opinion. No, it's not. When I say, well, listen, this is a police report, you say, well, in your opinion, it's not my opinion. When I say no one reached out to us directly and you say in your opinion, it's not my opinion. When I say I'm not alt-right and I've openly advocated against the alt-right and you say in your opinion, it's not my opinion. But all of the things I've mentioned are your opinion. And for some reason, you're okay passing this off as journalism. And I think that's a disservice to your readers. That's what I have a problem with. And like I said, I appreciate you taking the time, but I would hope that both of us have some things to think about after this conversation.
You agree that you do have things to think about after this conversation?
Absolutely.
Could you tell me what some of those are?
No, those are my private thoughts. But I just gave you quite a bit. If you'd like to talk another time, or even listen, have you on the show to discuss it, we'd be more than happy to. We do that all the time with people who disagree with us. Again, it's not about confronting. It's very rare when there are calls to violence. That's when we confront. But we have people all the time on the show with differing opinions. We're willing to hear anyone and everyone. And I think it's actually probably the one and only example online where we do that consistently and respectfully. So we'd welcome you to be on the show.
I'm sorry, the one and only example online being
yes.
You and your team are the only example online of people doing that?
Yes, of people hosting differing opinions, completely unedited, in long-form interviews consistently and respectfully. Yeah, I would say so. I would say there are very few. Maybe a couple other on the right wing, but certainly not on the left. Yeah.
And not alt-right, not to be confused with the right wing, not the alt-right. That's what you're saying?
Did you hear me say alt-right?
I'm just double-checking, since apparently that term is a point of contention for you.
Listen, it's not the term that's a point of contention. It's how lazy you are as a journalist that you didn't do a rudimentary search. You could type in alt-right Steven Crowder and find very, very quickly my stance. It's not about the term. It's about the journalistic laziness.
Okay. Is there anything else?
No, I think that's good. I appreciate. I would welcome you on the show. We have to go tape one here right now, but I appreciate you taking the time. And do you have any other questions for me?
I don't. And if I do, can I reach you through this number?
Best bet is probably an email. Actually, this number isn't always readily available, and someone isn't necessarily by the landline. So yeah, no, an email would be great. Appreciate it. And one last thing. You're aware that Texas is a single-party consent state, correct?
What are you asking me?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And there you have it. Journalism today in 2018. Your thoughts? I'm curious. If you like this video, subscribe, watch one of these other videos, or hit the notification bell. Well, you should hit that if you subscribe anyways, because subscriptions don't mean anything on YouTube anymore. Now you have to hit notifications so that it shows up in your inbox. So I don't know why you subscribe in the first place, but that's what you have to do. Also, we're not making money off these videos anymore because YouTube decided why